Crib Goch is famous for having no escape. So once you're on it, you either go all the way across or you come all the way back. There are 8 deaths a year on Crib Goch. Very bloody lovely day, so looking forward to this one. It's been about a year since I've been up Crib Goch, so let's have a go. It can be very hard to get parking at Penny Pass, and I think it's about 20-30 quid as well, so not cheap. But just down the road there are some places where you can get parking. It's £8 all day, so quite reasonable really. It adds an extra mile each direction, so 2 miles for your whole trip. So yeah, it's not too bad, you know. I've had to park a little bit further down as well, which is actually free. I didn't do it because it's free. I did it because I forgot to bring my little bag of pound coins like an absolute idiot, and because there's no phone signal, I can't actually pay for the parking using the phone app. I don't mind paying my way, but they shouldn't make it so fucking hard, to be honest. Now this road here, like, this is pretty much always got cars with tickets on, so they do clamp people and all that kind of stuff. Got some sunburn on the old scalp as well, so I'll be wearing this ridiculously floppy hat some of the time today, and I've also got the most ridiculous suntan lines on my arm, so I'll be wearing a vest later on. I just thought I'd tell you all this info, just so you know. I'm just approaching Penny Pass now. 1.25 miles so far, so I was going to add 2.5 miles to the whole trip, having to park over there, which is all right. You know, you can't always get a spot at Penny Pass, even if you wanted to. So this car park is where you would start the Pig, Miners, and also Crib Goch. Crib Goch starts by doing maybe the first quarter of the Pig track, and then you break off to the right and then start doing the scramble to ascend to the ridge itself. I'll show you that in a bit when we get there. So I just got to the Penny Pass car park now. There are 3 main routes that start from here. We've got the Miners, which heads off over there. That's typically the route that you would come back on, but obviously you can go forwards that way if you want. And then we've got the other 2 routes, which both start here, and that is the Pig track. And then just in the distance there, you can actually see the beginning of Crib Goch. So just starting now, absolutely beautiful day. And the wind does seem to have dropped down a little bit. I was a little bit worried before because it was a lot windier than I expected, but I think it was just the wind kind of picking up speed coming through the valleys. I was a bit worried that my drone wasn't going to be able to work very well today, which would have been a shame. I think that as content creators, we really should be thinking twice about walking across things like Crib Goch with a fucking selfie stick in your hand. Even though we may be capable of doing it, the people who copy us and watch our videos might not be. So I do think that we need to be a little bit more responsible when it comes to kind of what we show on our videos. I have seen some videos of people doing Crib Goch where they're basically just fucking crawling over the ridge, focusing more on getting the right composition, and I just think it sets a really bad example and we shouldn't really be doing that. So if I actually ever use this camera when we're on the ridge, I'll probably just stop and do a little bit of footage, but for the most part I'm just going to be putting a drone on follow me or in front of me, but I will be paying most of my attention to the ridge itself. It used to be fairly common for people to take a right thinking that the summit that they could see there was Snowdon, when in reality it was Crib Goch. Now a lot of people quote statistics saying that there are 8 deaths a year on Crib Goch, and that's actually not true. It's Snowdon itself that has 8 deaths a year. Crib Goch has around about 2 a year. Now considering that actually makes up a quarter of the deaths and there are 7 paths up, that actually does make it the most dangerous path up Snowdon. And also as well, it's a very popular route, but it's probably the least trodden route because of the nature of it. So that kind of also emphasises the fact that it is a fairly dangerous route. To put this into a broader perspective though, while CRIB GOCH is one of the lesser trodden routes up Snowdon, it's still a very popular scramble compared to many others in the UK. Now this will increase the potential for accidents, making it one of the deadliest scrambles statistically, but not necessarily being one of the actual most deadly in the UK per crossing. The scramble in itself on CRIB GOCH is not actually that technical, but the exposure goes to people's heads. So what I personally would say, well, do things that challenge your kind of heights and things like that, and then see whether you've got the head for it. CRIB GOCH is famous for having no escape. So once you're on it, you either go all the way across or you come all the way back. And coming all the way back is not the best option, as down climbing can often be more challenging and more dangerous. Now there are a couple of little spots where you can escape, but they are actually after the ridge. So essentially once you're on that ridge, if you start shitting yourself, you basically just need to commit. So it's really worth bearing that in mind if you ever plan on doing this. And so this is the point where you either choose to go left and follow the peak track, or you go right and that takes you up to CRIB GOCH. And this is where the fun starts really. From here it's pretty much steep walking or scrambling. Just a little bit of gentle scrambling to get you up to the ridge. So I've just done a little bit of vertical scrambling that you need to do to get up here, and then from here it's just a bit of a steppy slope really. I'll show you. So for the most part, you can walk right along the ridge. It is a lot more narrow than Snowdon Edge, for example. Rather than crawling over the top like this, you can just come down the side and use this as a handhold. So essentially it means that you can move quite quickly and it's quite safe and you're not holding other people up and endangering other people. Oh, pesky little midges. Oh my word. It's like they weren't there on the way up, but they are absolutely everywhere on this fucking ridge. Woo. It's actually a fairly short ridge, really, CRIB GOCH. The whole thing itself is quite long, but the ridge is fairly short, and then there's some pinnacles and things like that. I'll turn you around now so you can see the beginning of the pinnacles. So that's the pinnacles finished. There's about 3 of them, and it's quite interesting scrambling, to be honest. Quite enjoyable. So we've got just a little walk up there, not particularly ridgy, and then just in the distance you can see a couple of little tiny bits of scrambling that we'll need to do as well. And then just over here we've got the summit of Snowdon, or Wyddfa. It actually is an amazing place with some really interesting routes up. So it's definitely the midgiest I've ever been up CRIB GOCH before. I think they're mating or something because they keep landing on me while fornicating, the filthy little winged shits. So there's a little bit of a breeze, but it's just not enough to put them off today. And they can be quite distracting because they just fly into your eyes and shit. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's just a little bit of a quick one. Not overly detailed, just covers all the basics of CRIB GOCH. I will be coming back next week, I think, as soon as I get the chance, and doing a first person view of the whole route in real time. Probably be about an hour long, something like that, just so that you can see absolutely everything, in case you find that useful. So thanks for the watch, and I'll see you next time.